it's just heartbreaking. I see the people. I read the letters. It breaks my heart. I see the tears. I see the mothers crying about their kids or their husband. It's the most heartbreaking thing. I can't even begin to describe how sad and how tragic it is because it's so gratuitous. It is so unnecessary. And our authorities and our medical models and the people who we respect and we trust to help us with our health, they're deluded themselves. It's not like they're bad people. There's a little arrogance there maybe, and self-righteousness, but it's not like they're bad people. They really want to help, but they're deluded themselves. The fact of the matter is that when you go to an authority who tells you that they can carve you up or they can medicate you to somehow make you healthier, they're disrespecting the body. They're disrespecting how the body is structured and how the body is built. They're marginalizing the healing biochemistry of the body, and they're making themselves into gods. And it always reminds me of the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages when Catholicism, and I don't want to pick on Catholicism, but when religion was really big, it was like the priest would be like, don't worry about God. We can take care of God for you. You just give us 10% of your income, and then we get your house when you die, and then we'll talk to God. We'll make sure you get into heaven. And you don't have to worry about a single thing. And that sounds silly, but people really did it. Unfortunately, we do it today, except we don't do it with priests, we do it with doctors. And instead of plugging us into God, they say, we're going to get you healthy. Don't worry about it. Eat your Snickers bars, go to McDonald's, do whatever you want. We got it covered. We'll just take your gallbladder out. Or we'll just remove part of your intestine. No problem. Heart's messed up, we'll just give you some beta blockers. And it's not like they're bad people. It's like that's what they're taught. That's what they're conditioned to believe. They're conditioned to believe that they have control over the body. There's this kind of power trip. And to me, it's an unbelievable blasphemy and a disrespect to the divine nature, the intelligence that's in the body. I mean, just common sense. Everything I say, I'm talking about here is pretty much common sense. How does yesterday's lunch become your arm? How does the hamburger you had yesterday become your big toe today? How does this happen? How does food you eat somehow go into your system and become your body? We don't know. That's an intelligence. That's a divine intelligence that's doing it. How does your liver know what particular enzymes to produce? How does a cell know what particular secretions it's supposed to secrete? There's a certain wisdom inside the body that knows things, that heals things, that controls things, that adjusts things, and we should be leveraging that. You know, in drug research, they do things called, when they do tests, they have to do something called a double-blind study. A double-blind study is when the person giving the medicine doesn't know what medicine they're getting, whether they're getting a placebo or whether they're getting the drug. That's how they test for the potency of drugs. They have to filter out the placebo effect, because if the patient believes that the medicine will work, or if the administrator of the test drug knows which medicine, whether it's a medicine or a placebo, it's going to affect the results. Because the body, if it thinks, or the patient, if it thinks, he or she thinks the medicine will work, the medicine will work. Now, how does that happen? How is it possible that if you think something works, it's going to work? Clearly, there's a power here that instead of throwing away, filtering it out, which is what they do now, they filter it out. They do double-blind studies so they don't have to deal with the placebo effect. How about if we filter out the drug effect and we use the placebo effect? That seems to me to be a much more elegant way to take care of the body, is to think yourself that the body works. Now, I'm not saying thinking is going to cure everything, but I'm saying it has a huge impact, and that huge impact tells you that something is going on that is the end result of a control point that we have. We can control it. I mean, we have power over how our body shows up to a great degree. Is it complete power? Are there other factors involved? Probably, but we have a massive amount of power that we're not leveraging or not taking advantage of. And that to me is the most heartbreaking thing. That's unbelievably tragic and heartbreaking. Physician, heal thyself. Massive change begins with individual change. So we got to learn to change ourselves. It turns out that people in the alternative practitioner business are very often sick. They're very often not taking advantage of what they have, whether it's a practitioner who's not taking care of their wisdom, or whether it's a visitor to the trade shows and a participant from a patient end who's not taking advantage of what they're being told. So, you know, I do talks all the time, and I know good and well that when I do, there's 100 people, 95 of them are not, they're going to listen to me, but wah, 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 wah. They're not going to be participating in it. So what we can do is, if we're sick, we can heal ourselves and then teach other people how we did it, or if we're a practitioner, we can start to empower people to heal themselves, not with devices and not with remedies and not with magical frequency adjusters, but with the basic building blocks. If you can't take advantage of the healing process from within you, from within your body, you're not maximally leveraging what God gave you. If you need a device or you need a medication, whether it's a homeopathic medication or herbal medication or natural medication, or you need some kind of a process or procedure that's outside of yourself, you're not taking advantage of your own healing properties, which come from nutrition, which come from how you think, which come from how you feel, and unfortunately dismissed and marginalized your connection with higher power, with divine force, feeling safe in the world, feeling like you're somehow have not been abandoned by the universe. The universe means one verse, means one thing, and it has a lot in common with the word health, which means whole. And so feeling like you are part of a big unity that the universe can provide for you via your body or via what's out there is fundamental to the healing process, because underneath our distresses, there's usually some element of I'm not good enough or I can't make it, and behind I'm not good enough, I can't make it, there is some kind of primal terror or fear that somehow I'm not going to survive. And that has to be addressed. And so between the spiritual component, the mental component, the emotional component, and the physical component, we can all heal ourselves, and that's what we should be doing. And if we're a teacher or a practitioner or a healer, we should be empowering our patients to do that.
Thank you so much, Ben.
Thank you.